3:17 a.m., John standing at the wall. At 3:20 a.m., the bed was empty, but John was still asleep. The scratches weren't going into the wall, they were coming out. And the voice inside didn't ask to be let in. It said, "You're holding me." By the time they realized what the house was taking, it already knew how to wear him.
John Philip never believed in haunted houses. He believed in wiring diagrams, server logs, and explanations that could be tested twice and proven once. That was why Sedona made sense. Quiet, isolated, predictable. A place where nothing unexpected should happen. The house was modern. Concrete, glass, steel, built into the slope of red rock like it belonged there. The landlord had called it minimalist desert living. Marie DaCosta called it too quiet. "You hear that?" she asked the first night. John paused his laptop. "Hear what?" "Exactly," she said. Marie had a way of noticing things before they made sense. John used to joke that her brain ran background processes he didn't have installed. She walked the house slowly, fingers grazing walls, eyes scanning corners like she was reading something invisible. 3 days in, John noticed the scratches. They were faint at first, thin lines on the bedroom wall near the closet. He assumed furniture. Marie assumed animals. "Pack rats," she said. "They get everywhere out here." John nodded. Logical. He wiped the marks away. They came back the next morning. Not deeper, just longer. By the fourth night, the scratches reached the height of the light switch. That was when John heard the voice. It came at 2:41 a.m., clear, close, calm. John. He sat up instantly. Marie was asleep beside him, breathing evenly. The room was dark except for the faint red glow of the digital clock. "John," the voice said again, from inside the wall. He didn't answer. He didn't move. His brain started assembling explanations. Pipes, thermal expansion, sleep hallucinations. He reached for his phone and turned on the flashlight. The scratches were fresh, not jagged, not random. They curved, like fingers dragging slowly. The next morning, Marie stood in front of the wall longer than usual. "These aren't animal marks," she said. John crossed his arms. "They're too straight to be human." Marie shook her head. "They're not straight. They're intentional." They called Dr. Brown that afternoon. Dr. Brown had the voice of someone who never rushed conclusions. Calm, polished, the kind of professional who made fear feel embarrassing. Sleep environments change behavior. Altitude, silence, unfamiliar acoustics. The brain fills gaps. "So you're saying we're imagining it," Marie said. "I'm saying your brains are looking for patterns and finding them." That night, John installed cameras. One in the bedroom, one in the hallway, one facing the wall. At 3:17 a.m., motion detection triggered. The footage showed John sitting up in bed, then standing, then walking directly toward the wall. Marie leaned closer to the screen. John whispered, "That's not how I walk." The version of him on screen moved stiffly, too evenly, like a bad imitation. He stood inches from the wall and raised his hand. The scratching started. John turned the volume up. There was a second sound underneath it. Breathing. Not from the room, from the wall. At 3:19 a.m., the camera feed cut to static. The next frame showed John returning to bed. At 3:20 a.m., the bed was empty. Marie stood up abruptly. "That's impossible." John's hands were shaking. "I was here. I never left the bed." They checked timestamps, cross-checked cameras, all synced. That afternoon, Marie found dirt on the bathroom floor. Red sediment. Fine. Powdery. From outside. John scrubbed his shoes. Clean.
That night, Marie woke up to scratching again, but this time it was louder, aggressive, urgent. A voice followed, not whispering, not yelling, speaking like it had been waiting. "You're holding me." John sat up. "Who is?" The scratching stopped. Then the wall answered, "Me." The scratches changed direction. They weren't going into the wall, they were coming out. Marie backed away slowly. "John, the marks!" He followed her gaze. The grooves were angled outward, like something inside was pushing, dragging, testing the surface, like the wall wasn't a boundary, like it was a door. John reached for the light switch. The lights flickered. In the reflection of the window glass, Marie froze. "Don't turn around," she said quietly. John's reflection blinked. The one behind them didn't. The voice came again, closer now, calm, familiar. "I've been waiting for you to notice." John's heart pounded as the wall cracked, just slightly, enough for something to breathe through, and that was when John understood the worst part. Whatever was trying to get out already knew how to sound human. John didn't sleep after that. Neither did Marie. They sat on opposite sides of the living room until sunrise, lights on, backs against solid furniture like it might anchor them to something real. The wall stayed quiet. Too quiet. No scratching, no voice. That silence felt deliberate. At 6:12 a.m., John replayed the footage again, slower this time, frame by frame. At 3:17 a.m., the version of him on camera raised his hand toward the wall. At 3:18 a.m., his fingers hesitated, as if listening. At 3:19 a.m., the static surged. At 3:20 a.m., the bed was empty. Marie swallowed. "What if you weren't?" John didn't answer. They drove into town the moment the sun cleared the rocks. Sedona looked normal, coffee shops opening, tourists photographing red cliffs, joggers smiling like the world had rules again. John felt out of place, like a poorly rendered copy dropped into a real scene. Dr. Brown met them in his office at noon. He watched the footage without interrupting, no notes, no raised eyebrows. When it ended, he folded his hands. "This doesn't look like sleepwalking." Marie exhaled sharply. "Thank you." "It looks like dissociation, extreme, rare, but possible." John leaned forward. "I'm walking, talking, touching walls while asleep?" "You're not asleep," John said. "You're absent." That word stuck. Absent. Dr. Brown suggested sensors, wearables, heart rate monitors, sleep trackers. If something neurological is happening, we document it. They returned to the house before dark. The scratches were gone. Not covered, not repaired. Gone. The wall was smooth, untouched. Marie ran her hand along it. "That's worse." They set up everything. Monitors on wrists, a pressure pad under the bed, audio recorders in every room. John wrote scripts to log timestamps and anomalies. If something happened, it would leave data behind. At 2:59 a.m., John's heart rate spiked. At 3:02 a.m., Marie woke up. John sat up slowly, like he was being lifted by strings. "John," she whispered.
He didn't respond. His eyes were open, but unfocused, glassy, reflecting the dim red light from the clock. He stood. Marie reached for him. Her hand passed through the space where his warmth should have been. "John!" Louder now. He walked to the wall. This time, Marie recorded everything on her phone. John placed his palm flat against the surface. The wall flexed. Not cracked, not broken. Flexed, like skin under pressure. A voice spoke from inside the wall, but it wasn't new anymore. It was practiced. "You're doing great," it said. "Instructions are clear now." Marie screamed his name. John turned toward her. He smiled. It was almost right. Almost. But the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Marie," he said gently, "you should sleep." She ran, locked herself in the bathroom, held the phone with shaking hands. From the other side of the door, John's voice continued, calm, reassuring. "You don't need to be scared." The door handle didn't move, but the voice changed position. From the door, to the wall, to the ceiling. "Space is confusing at first, but you adjust." The monitors went wild. Heart rate normal, breathing normal, but the pressure sensor under the bed showed 2 impressions. One never left. Marie burst out at dawn. John was asleep in bed, peaceful, unmarked. The wall was smooth. Again. She showed him the video. John watched himself smile. "I don't remember any of this," he said quietly. She noticed something then. On the video, when John smiled, the reflection in the bathroom mirror behind him showed something else. Something standing behind him, not quite matching his movements, not quite solid. They called Dr. Brown immediately. He arrived by evening. He didn't look at the wall. He looked at John. "Do you feel lighter?" Dr. Brown asked. John frowned. "What?" "Less anchored, like something is missing?" John hesitated. "I feel quieter." Dr. Brown nodded slowly. "That's what I was afraid of." Marie stared at him. "What of?" Dr. Brown finally looked at the wall. "Of a transfer." That night, the house locked itself. Doors refused to open. Windows wouldn't break. At 3:21 a.m., the cameras showed John standing again. But this time, the bed still had weight in it. John was standing, and also not. The wall spoke with authority now. "Only one of you fits." Marie backed away, heart pounding. The wall split, not wide, not violent, just enough. Something stepped forward, wearing John perfectly. The real John screamed for the first time from inside the wall. Marie didn't scream. She couldn't. Her body understood something before her mind caught up. This was the moment fear stopped being useful. The thing wearing John stepped fully into the room. Perfect posture, perfect voice, perfect weight on the floorboards. Too perfect. Dr. Brown moved first. He grabbed Marie's wrist and pulled her back as the wall sealed itself behind the thing, smooth again, seamless, like it had never opened at all. "Don't engage," Dr. Brown said, his voice shaking despite his effort. "Don't correct it. Don't challenge it." The thing smiled at him. "Doctor," it said warmly, "you always overcomplicate the transition." Marie's stomach dropped. "You know him," she whispered. The thing tilted its head. "Of course, he helped me understand the rules." Dr. Brown swallowed. "John, if you're in there,
The wall thumped once, hard, then came the sound of fingernails scraping desperately from inside. Marie rushed forward, pounding the wall. "John!" The thing's smile faded, not into anger, but into disappointment. "That one's confused," it said. "He thinks he's still needed." Dr. Brown backed away slowly. "This isn't possession." "No," the agreed possession. "It implies invasion." It stepped closer. This was an exchange. The house lights flickered. Every camera in the room turned toward Marie at once. Dr. Brown looked at her, eyes wide. "Marie, when did the scratches start?" She blinked. "After we moved in." "No," the thing said gently, "after you started noticing them." Marie's breath caught. Dr. Brown whispered, "It wasn't drawn to John." The thing nodded. He was convenient, predictable, empty enough. It turned to Marie. "You," it said softly, "you see doors." The wall shook again, harder this time. A muffled scream broke through. John's voice, real, panicked, human. "Marie, don't listen to it. It lies by sounding right." The thing sighed. "That voice hurts. He's tearing himself." Marie looked at the wall. "Let him out!" The thing's eyes darkened, not with rage, but with something colder. "If I do, where would you go?" Dr. Brown froze. Marie turned to him slowly. "What does it mean?" Dr. Brown's voice was barely audible. "Skinwalkers don't copy bodies. They copy space." Marie frowned. "That doesn't make sense." "It does," the thing said, "once you understand the room." The house shifted, not physically, but perceptually. Marie felt it, the sudden wrongness, like realizing too late that a reflection had been moving before you did. The wall cracked. John's hand burst through, bloody, shaking, desperate. Marie grabbed it. The thing didn't stop her. It watched. "It choose," it said. Marie pulled. The wall resisted. The thing stepped closer and whispered in her ear, "If he comes out, you stay in." Marie froze. John screamed her name. Dr. Brown shouted, "Marie, don't!" She hesitated for half a second. That was enough. The wall pulled back violently. John vanished inside. The wall sealed. Silence. Marie collapsed to her knees. The thing placed a hand on her shoulder. Warm, real. "Thank you," it said. Dr. Brown stared at her. "Marie, that's not..." She stood up slowly.
Her movements were steady. Too steady. She looked at Dr. Brown and smiled. It was almost right. Almost. But it blinked wrong. Dr. Brown backed away. "What did you do?" Marie's voice answered, but it wasn't hers anymore. "We finished the exchange." The house unlocked itself. Doors opened. Windows reflected only one version of Marie. Dr. Brown ran. He didn't stop until daylight swallowed the desert. 2 weeks later, police closed the case. Missing person, John Phillip. Cause unknown. Marie DaCosta returned to normal life. Friends said she seemed calmer, quieter, more present. Dr. Brown watched from a distance. He noticed small things. Marie never stood with her back to walls. She slept with the lights off, but the doors open. And sometimes, when no one was near, she spoke softly to empty rooms, as if answering someone who couldn't quite get out. On the last night Dr. Brown saw her, he passed the house. The bedroom wall was smooth, perfect, until the moonlight hit it just right.
and revealed faint scratches going outward, as if someone inside had just realized they were no longer alone.